All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. We get together most weekdays at 8 o'clock Central. Today is Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. As a 501c3 nonprofit, we have received a grant that really has three mandates, one of which is to build financial literacy. Today's topic will be directly related to that. Secondly, we help small businesses have fundable businesses by giving away the free shelf corps. And then thirdly, we help ensure that they have access to a minimum of 100,000 to start or grow a business. Song of the day was Money Money by Billy Idol, but that's all nonsense. Let's just focus on the topic. I see there's a great divide between many of you, and there are some of you that are really good at what you do, and you're making a lot of money, and that's great. Kudos to you. But there's an equal number of you that are struggling, and we're going to stop the struggle today. We're going to have an adult conversation. Think back if you were in sports. Did you ever have that event where your team was losing and the coach kind of got up in your face a little bit, or when you were in your MBA or law school program where you had that professor that when you weren't your grades weren't so good or you weren't prepared for class discussion, he or she kind of got up in your face? Well, today's that day. And I do this out of love and respect. But what I'm going to do today is going to piss you off. But if you'll stick with me and listen, it'll be a game changer for those of you that are not producing. And again, I know we've got Varney. Varney makes well over 100,000 a month. We've got Rod, again, makes well over 100,000 a month. So for those of you that are top producers, feel free to hang around. But for those of you that are not earning an adult income today, I think will be a game changer. It's not about me selling you anything, so don't think that. I need to quantify the opportunity, and I do believe that every one of you can make 100,000 in July, not by scheming people, not by promising anything that's too good to be true, but by fulfilling our mission, by us collaborating. But let's go ahead and get into the meat of the matter. I'm going to give you some very specifics. We're not going to talk high level, generic, I wonder what to do. We're going to leave today's Zoom with specific action steps, and then it's on you, not me, not anyone else, not your life circumstances. It's going to be on you if you want to implement or not, because you're the CEO of your business. It's your choice. All right, so we first got to get in the right mindset, and some of you aren't. And again, if any of these comments don't apply to you, I apologize in advance. But some of you are not in the right mindset. You are the CEO of your business. You are the business owner. You're the chief executive officer. And if you don't see yourself as that, it's time to change it. We've got to have the right mindset. You are running a business. Now, furthermore, if you're running a business, you're responsible for everything within that business. But that does not mean you have to do everything. You can have an accountant that does your taxes or your bookkeeping. You can have different people, different staff, internal or external, that you delegate to. You're not going to grow a significant business as a one-person entity. It's statistically impossible. But you can be a very good CEO and have other people that are strong in their areas do their thing. And again, we're going to go from general to very specific. But first, we've got to have the mindset. You're not an affiliate. You're not an independent contractor. You are the CEO of a business. You have a relationship with a 501c3 nonprofit that has a real grant that's delivering real shelf corps. We're going to do what we promised to do. We need you to be a good, active, successful partner. Now, with that being said, it does not matter of your industry. You could be a doctor, a dentist, an auto mechanic, a bank. Sales is the lifeblood of every company. If you do not have sales, you do not have a business. We get a lot of people that come to us and they don't really worry about sales. They just want debt. Give me that motherfucking debt. Get me loans. I want lots of loans. I want hundreds of thousands. I want millions of dollars. I want millions of dollars of debt without any cognizant understanding that you have to pay that back. A real business is not a shell game. It's not an entity just to go borrow money. It needs to solve someone else's problems. It needs to offer a good or a service and make money. And that's true for you because you're the CEO of your business. Now, us working together, maybe it's not your dream, maybe it's not your passion, maybe we're just going to be a side income for you, and that's fine. I'm not here to convert you. It's simply you need to understand the relationships that's in front of you, and then you need to make an adult decision. Now, what we do together is not get rich quick. It's not. If you want to get rich quick, I don't know, do human trafficking or sell drugs. I don't know. I don't know how to get rich quick because there's normally not a legal and ethical way to get rich quick. But what we can earn is 5,000 per client. Well, where does that come from? Well, you should already know, but let's restate. You determine how much you make up front by marking up the processing fee, if you want to mark it up at all. And then you get 5% on the back end, which is 5,000 minimum, right? Because the client's guaranteed 100,000. So if you're getting 5% of that, that's 5,000. So we're just going to work off of minimum numbers. Not, oh, what if I had a client that got 1 million or 2 million? Let's just work off minimum numbers. You should be making at least 5,000. Frankly, that's the back end alone, plus whatever you want to charge on the front end. So, does it get rich quick? No. Is it too good to be true? Obviously not. But it's very profitable, right? There aren't many businesses where you have no investment, no risk, and can earn a net income of 5,000 per deal. Very hard to come by. This is a real one. But we need volume, don't we? And you can see where I'm going. We need volume, but I'm going to show you how to get volume. Now, when it comes to, so again, you're the CEO. You don't have to do everything yourself, and we can't dismiss sales. Sales is crucial. If we're trying to go get funding, that bank, that lender wants to know, what are you going to do to generate sales in the future to be able to pay that debt back? But you need sales to pay your bills, right? To succeed, to sustain yourself. So we've got to be honest with ourselves. To lie to ourselves does no one any good. Are you good at selling? So Mark Moses, are you good at selling? Rod Francis, are you good at selling? Toily Wise, are you good at selling? You don't have to be good at sales to have a profitable business and be a CEO, but we do have to have sales to be an effective CEO and have a profitable business. So if you're not the person to do it, we need to change our mindset and go get people to do it. I'm going to show you exactly how. And no, you're not going to give me a bunch of excuses. I can't afford it. I'm broke, so I can't afford anyone. I'm going to show you where to get commission-only salespeople. We're going to get very granular today. But you need a sales team because if you have no sales, you have no money. Frankly, if you can't manage a sales team, you don't have to do the sales, but if you can't manage a sales team, you need to replace yourself. You're not competent to run a business. And I'm sorry, if you cannot run sales, you don't have to do it, but if you cannot manage a sales team or hire someone that'll do that for you, fire yourself because you don't belong in that role. And I'm sorry if that offends you. Now, I talk to a lot of you, and I love the people I talk to that tell me, oh, I'm really good at sales. But there's always a but. But I've got to wait till I get funded first, or I've got to wait until Jupiter and Saturn line up just right in the sky. Salespeople don't make fucking excuses. We go out and sell. We go out and sell. So if you're not wired to go out and sell, that's okay. You can still be a kick-ass CEO of a very profitable business. But we need someone that is focused on sales, not excuses. So with that being said, we need a sales team. We absolutely need a sales team. You need to be the CEO. If you want to contribute to sales, that's fine. But you need a sales team if you're going to run a successful management consulting business. And that's what you're running. You're the CEO of a management consulting business. So, what do we want in a sales professional? Let's just step back for a moment and assume you're not the right person to do sales. We're going to put someone else in that role. And again, stop with the excuses. Oh, I can't afford them. That's not going to be an issue. So, what do you want in a sales professional? First of all, you want someone that's got the hunter mentality, that has the desire, that doesn't approach sales as the last thing that they want to do. It's the first thing. And we've all ran into them. I know when my family and I go to the mall, there's a kiosk. There's lots of kiosks, but there's one kiosk, and there's this young guy that sells shoe cleaning kits. And you can't walk by him without him coming out and greeting you, he'll compliment your shoes, he'll want to shake your hand, he wants to sell you shoe cleaner. You've been around people that are just aggressive, and I don't mean that negatively, but motivated sales professionals. If that's not you, we need to get someone like that on your team. Or if that's going to be you, we've got to have that fire in the belly. And some of you don't. Some of you I call and I feel like I need a Zoloft after talking to you because I feel so damn sad, right? Or people that tell me, well, I'm really broke, I'm going to be homeless in a couple of days. And we have one gentleman, I won't mention his name out of respect. He's destitute. He's going to be homeless. Now, he's been telling me he's going to be homeless for weeks and weeks. And he's a reseller. And I'm like, dude, there's so many people that need money to start and grow a business. Why are you not making money like everyone else? I'm too busy, he says. I said, oh, that's interesting. I've got stage 4 cancer, and I usually come into work between 3 and 5 a.m. and work a good 12-hour shift. What is it you're too busy doing? I asked him. He said he works an 8-hour day. I said, well, I do that times 2, and I'm not in a desperate situation. So what do you do when you go home? I asked him. Oh, he watches porn for 4 to 5 hours. Oh, okay. So that's where you're spending your time. So we've got to find people that are motivated to make sales to be on your team. And if it's not you, it's okay, because I'm going to show you where to find those people today. We're going to be very specific. You want people that have sales skills. Again, look at your resume. Are you really qualified to be making sales? Are you in the right role? If so, we need to start producing. But there are people out there that have that desire, that hunter mentality. They have sales skills. They have proven results. Again, I'm a bit redundant, but when I talk to some people and they'll tell me, oh, I'm really good at sales, and I'm looking at their numbers, and it's like, dude, you suck, right? You're not making any sales, because there's always an excuse. Well, in the future, I'll make sales. Well, your business is going to go under while you're deciding to go be motivated. So we're going to build a team together that's not going to cost you anything up front, that has people that are driven, that have the skills to perform, and they come with a track record. We're not going to fuck around with novices, right? Sales isn't something, well, I'll figure out how to do. We don't have time for that. There's an urgency. You're the CEO of your business, and your business needs to be profitable. So, with that being said, we've got to have a sales team, and we're going to show you how today. We're going to, every one of you, we want to work together and build your sales team. And so in the month of July, you hit at least 100,000. That's the goal. So here are the steps, and we're going to bring it up. We're going to flip over to Fiverr. Now, there are other sites other than Fiverr, but Fiverr is a good one. And actually, I guess we'll minimize this for a moment. So how much does it cost to create a Fiverr account? Zero. Costs $0, right? So number one, we're going to eliminate money as an excuse. I just did it this morning. Went and created a Fiverr account, and then you can type in whatever you want. But I think the best search term for what you and I are talking about today would be commission-based sales. People that are willing to come work for you. They don't want to be paid hourly. They don't want to be paid salary, but they meet the criteria that we're looking for. What was the criteria? We need people that have a hunter mentality, not that I'm going to make some excuses. They have the skills and they have results. And we're going to build a team of 2 people. And I lost my page there for some reason. I guess it's refreshing. That's what we're going to do between now and July 1st. We got about a week. We're going to build a sales team of 2 people that's going to work their ass off for you in the month of July. Don't know why my screen blinked out. There it comes back. So if you do a search, create an account on Fiverr.com, free, search commission-based sales, there's lots of people. There's lots of people. So let's look at a few of those people. Now, sometimes the picture they put on their graphic, they're good at sales, right? Sometimes it's not their picture, but that's okay. So here we've got a guy that says he's commission-based. He's a closer, right? Because if we think about sales, we first need leads and then we need closing. It's best and simplest, well, let's say simplest, if you have the same person that's generating the leads that's closing the leads. But you certainly could go in and separate those 2 roles if you wanted. Or if you said, oh, no, I've got plenty of leads, I'm just not good at closing them. Well, you could provide your deals to Adewale. Let's pull him up. So the point is, I'm going to show you people that are able to generate the leads and close the leads, but you could separate those 2 roles if you want. All right, here's what he says. Handsome guy. I will be commission-based sales closer, business-to-business sales, which is what we do. Lead generation, appointment setting. Let's expand out the notes here. It says, boost your sales today. Contact me for expert representation. Are you looking to skyrocket your sales? And again, I'm not looking to help you skyrocket your sales. I just want you to make $1 million. I'm sorry, 100,000 next month, 1.2 million in the next 12 months. That's my goal. Part of our mandate, which we don't talk a lot about, maybe it's not very palatable, but part of the grant is to help you all become successful at earning a great income. And so we're going to eliminate barriers by getting a sales team. So he's an example of a gentleman. He speaks multiple languages. We should be just fine with English. And you can learn more about him. You can see more about his projects and so forth. And he's got different packages, the $5 package, the $50 package, the $150. And you can talk to him. I don't know him, but he's an example of one. So then we can go back and say, well, she's a nice looking lady. Let's see what she's all about. I will close more deals. Her name's Erin. She'll focus on delivering exceptional service. She does a lot of things. But if you start approaching some of these people, and there's almost an infinite number. So it's not like, oh, there's no one that'll come to work for me that's commission only. You're wrong. There's a lot of people that will work commission only for you. Now, you're going to have to decide how to pay them, and they're going to be more motivated on the front end than the back end. So let's go back to our comp plan. So we know that you're going to be paid up front, but you determine how much based upon how you want to mark up the processing fee. It's up to you how you want to approach this, but I would pay them out of the front end. I wouldn't even bring up the back end to them. So you're keeping 100% of this, and you can build their cost. I think for many of these people, and I can't speak for them, but for many of these people, if you paid them $100 per contract signed, they would produce like you've never seen, because many of them live in different economic circumstances than you. So an extra 100 a deal is great income for them, where for you, you probably just wouldn't even work at it. So let's go back to our action steps. We recommend that you create a Fiverr account, fiverr.com. Doesn't cost anything, so no excuses there. Second, I want you to hire 2 people between now and July 1st. 2 commission-only people. Not 1. I want you to have 2. Well, why 2? First of all, we'll be able to compare their performance. And secondly, if one's a dud, you're not left at the end of July with your pants down. So frankly, each of them theoretically should be able to do a deal a day, bring in 20 people each per month and put you frankly at 200,000. But we're going to play it conservative and just say between the two of them, we'll certainly be able to compare and contrast how they're doing. And then what we want to do is we're going to fire one. We're going to be aggressive sales managers. We're going to hire two of you. The top producer stays. I'm going to replace you with someone else on this list. So you can let them know that if you want, but you're going to determine how you want to pay them. That's up to you. So is there going to be a cost? Well, yeah, you're a CEO. If you don't think there's going to be cost of running a business, you're in the wrong role. But it doesn't have to come out of your pocket. It can come out of the transactions, right? Because you're collecting money from the client up front by marking up the processing fee. Now, one of the things I believe that we need to do is to make it simple for these folks. These people are talented, committed, driven, capable, but you want to make it simple. So what I would recommend you having them do is drive the leads, and I can pull up the notes, drive the leads to your landing page. If you don't yet have your landing page, text us on the support line, 903-347-8042. Now, again, this is our no excuse, no bullshit call. So if you say, well, I don't have a landing page, I can't afford it. We have a promotion going in June. Bring in 2 clients and we'll forgive or waive the normal $999 refundable deposit. Now, if you just want to pay it, you can get it up front, but I'm not asking you to pay it. I'm just saying bring in 2 deals, ask for the waiver. We'll send you the waiver and you'll get your landing page free. But regardless of how you get the landing page, if these people are going to go, if these salespeople on your team, go back over here, a whole bunch of people would love to work for you, and the pages go on and on and on and on, so it's not just a few people, they're going to need a process to follow. And what I would recommend, it's up to you, you're the CEO, is have them drive the prospects to your landing page, because we want to capture that information, and then we want the landing page drip marketing to be able to contribute to closing them. So specifically, this is how it could work. We got Kenny on the line. So let's say that Kenny is my salesperson. So I found Kenny up here in Fiverr, and I've hired Kenny on a commission-only basis. And I said, Kenny, I will pay you $100 per contract signed, and here's how easy it is, Kenny. Now, Kenny's going to be responsible for generating his own leads. We're not going to buy leads. We never, never, ever want to buy leads. These people will develop the leads and close the leads. So rather than spending money on buying leads, don't do it unless you're really good at sales. Most of you, frankly, are not really good at sales. So instead of spending any money buying leads, spend money on paying these people for closing deals. So they're going to develop the leads however they do it. That's their skill set. They're going to speak to that lead, and they're going to drive them to your landing page. Now, what I would recommend is that they're on the phone with the lead and asking. So I'm going to role play. So I'm going to pretend I'm your salesperson, and I am calling Celino. Celino is a small business owner. So I've connected with Celino. He's interested in getting more information. So then I'm going to ask, well, Celino, let me get you into the system here so we can get you more information. I'm going to confirm his first name, his last name, his mobile number, and email. As the salesperson, I'm going to actually put it in. I'm going to click that box. I'm going to hit the blue button. And then Celino is still on the phone with me. My prospect's still on the phone with me. Then he's going to get that confirmation text, because that's what happens with the landing page. Once it's filled out and the blue buttons hit, immediately or nearly immediately, a confirmation text is going to go to the prospect. So either they need to fill it out and then be anticipating to opt in, or they need to be on the phone with your salesperson, let the salesperson put the information in so the salesperson knows that the person is now in the funnel, and then be on the phone with them to say, okay, great, Celino, did you just get a text? If you can type yes, then you're in the system. At that point, then we'll be able to do the drip marketing, which we provide for free through the RMP. as well as your salesperson obviously knowing the critical contact points to be able to follow up with them. So we should have a really high close percentage. All right, so with that, what questions do any or concerns do any of you have? I'll review briefly, and you can type your questions, comments, concerns into the Q&A box. It's like a chat box. First of all, we're not going to continue to support low producers. So if you're a low producer, we need to help you, support you, make you a high producer. Every one of you should earn at least 100,000 in the month of July, which starts in about a week, using this model. If you don't want to use this model, if you got a better model, that's perfectly fine. But we're not going to continue to support and keep around unsuccessful people. It's not a good use of our time, not a good use of their time. They can go drive DoorDash or Uber or do something else. So if you're ready to commit to making at least 100,000, again, I'm not trying to sell you anything, I'm not trying to get you to spend any money, but if you want to be part of this group, then I ask you, give this a try for 1 month, the month of July. You're going to go create a Fiverr account, free and simple. You're going to find 2 people that's going to work with you for a month. Set a goal for them. Let them know, hey, you've got to do at least a 20 in a month. It's an average of a deal a day, but of course there'll be some good days and some off days, and they're not necessarily going to work for you every day of the week. At the end of the month, now if they're both really high performers, why would you fire either? But in general, you want to create a sense of competition. I'm going to keep the high producer. I'm going to fire the low producer and replace them. But sure, if you have 2 high producers, that's fine. Todd's asking, could you do more than 2? No, you could, but I don't want to overdo it. So for the month of July, as of this recording, it's the next upcoming month, just start with 2. No matter how ambitious you are, just start with 2. So we're not juggling too many relationships. Start with 2. We'll get through July, and then in August and subsequent months, if you want to ramp it up, because you're right, the more salespeople you have, the more money you should make. You should make 100,000 per month per salesperson. All right. Toby says, well, what if I don't have confidence? You don't need confidence. Any weaknesses that you all have that's preventing you from making sales, we're going to work around it. We're going to go get salespeople that have the desire, that have that mentality that frankly some of you don't have. You can be a very effective leader of your business. You can make the money, but we need aggressive salespeople out doing sales. So who's willing to give this a try for the month of July? Not trying to sell you anything, not trying to get you to spend any money, but as they used to say when I was growing up, I'm ready for you to poop or get off the pot, right? So just make a decision. Some of you get on these morning Zooms almost every morning, but you're making no money. You know, this isn't a podcast. You either need to produce or go find, you're too smart, you're too motivated to hang around and not make money, right? You've got to decide where your focus is. So if you want to work with us for the next month, and let's get at least 100,000 in your bank account and on your balance sheet, on your financials in the month of July, here's a plan that I'm 100% sure will work. If you don't want to do this, then either find something else or move on. Debbie asked a good question about onboarding, because you're right, because when you contact these people, you're going to need to be able to explain the proposition because they're the ones that's going to go out and sell it. But you know what? When every one of you came aboard, we sent you a Shelf Corp implementation email. Half of you just skimmed it. But if you actually go through that, you should be more than confident and competent to explain it. But beyond that, you also have a flyer that has the words on paper. You have the comparison sheet that has the words on paper. And of course, you have the agreement. But the truth be known, what really needs to be said is on your landing page, Debbie. We're giving away free shelf corps. It's a fast and easy way to qualify for business funding and SBA loans. Our affiliated 501c3 nonprofit has received a grant to provide you a free express shelf corp. In about 7 days, you'll have a fundable business entity, including commercial address, business plan, financials, collateral, etc. Then, if you would like, you can use that shelf corp for business funding financing with a minimum of 100,000 guaranteed. Worried about bad credit? Don't worry about it. The credit sweep is included. Complete this form to get more information and to participate. So frankly, Debbie, this is really the pitch. This is the pitch. And it's literally the call to action. Your salesperson, Debbie, is going to help them fill this out. Again, I understand that some of you are not wired for sales, and that's okay. That's okay. But you need to, if you are a CEO of a business, you've got to have a sales team. You've got to have a sales process. You have to have profit. Kenny brings up a good point. You're going to see, I believe, exponential growth. And what I mean by that, again, not trying to sell you anything or create something that's too good to be true. But let's say that you have two salespeople. You pick two people that's going to work for you, commission only. And let's assume worst case scenario. One of them's a total dud, the other's a normal producer. So you have 20 deals. You have 20 deals that come in the month of July. Well, great. So we hit your income goal. So that's most important. But then secondly, you've got 20 new clients. And with 20 new clients, this is Kenny's point, not mine, is some of them will say, hey, I'd also like to be a reseller. And again, we're not an MLM, we're not network marketing, but we pay the same 5-point override. So you'll almost by accident build a larger and larger and larger sales team because on average, what, about 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 3 of the clients, because these are entrepreneurs, right? They solve problems. They offer goods and services, and they need money to start their cattle farm or whatever it is. Some of them are going to say, hey, I know other small businesses. They also replicate the process. It doesn't cut you out. As Kenny's point is, you make the same amount on an override. So that's great. As far as if anyone needs help getting the RMP, the reseller marketing program, just go into it eyes wide open. There's $1,000 refundable deposit for us to build your landing page, the e-contract, and the drip campaign. We have a promotion in June. We'll waive that $1,000 completely, not partially, completely, contingent upon you bringing 2 people in. And that's called the waiver. So you got about a week, Debbie and everyone else, either bring 2 people in. And if you can't muster up 2 people in the next week, it's probably not the right fit for you. And I hate to say that, but either pay for the RMP, which is a refundable deposit, which comes back to you after you sell 2 people, enroll 2 people, or enroll 2 people and then get it for free. But that's how you would get this. We could theoretically give this free to all of you, but we know a lot of you aren't going to produce, and that's a waste of time and effort. So with that being said, if you need individualized assistance, I'd recommend using our support line, 903-347-8042. But our goal is to essentially cut half of you off. Come August 1st, the half of you that are not producing, we want to set you free to go do other things because there's no reason for you to be around if you're not going to be part of the 100,000 club. We want to work with successful, motivated people. Does not mean that you have to be a good salesperson, but it means that we need to recognize we need a sales organization, a sales department, and I've literally showed you how to go build a free sales team with talented people that are frankly probably better than you are. And that's why I warned you, today's topic will probably piss you off because no offense, but most of these people are better at sales than you or me. They're better than you and I because this is their chosen profession. They don't do it because they have to do it. They do it because that's what they love to do. They're more motivated than you are, most likely. They're better than you are. But that's okay. You want the best damn salespeople on your team that you can have because they're selling for your business. They're not your competition. And even if they looked at our program and said, well, I don't want to work for you anymore, Mark or Marcos or Terrence. I want to go do it on my own. That's fine. They could split off and do it on their own. You still earn the same damn overrides. Encourage them to do that. Say, great, intern with me for a month. And then if you want to go spin off on your own, great, because you're still making the same amount of money and they're doing all the work. All right. If you need anything else, let us know. Contact information is the same. Past trainings are on YouTube. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.